Hi, today I'm here to interview John David Cortez, who is the son of the boss. And could you share with me when you first heard about the Jonestown Memorial being a project here at Marin Monument?
I was probably about 12 or 13 years old. My dad came home and was talking about it because that's about when he was contacted for the Jonestown Memorial. And then I went full-time here in '88, and then it was about the mid-'90s that we were contacted again, and my dad and his partner at the time were talking about the memorial, and that it was beginning to get started. And so that's about the first time I heard about it.
And how long has the business been here?
Since 1982.
1982. And we're here in Marin County. How long have you been doing markers, and do you do engraving, or do you do an installation, or what do you do?
We do everything that has to do with monuments and headstones for cemeteries.
Okay, and how long have you been working with and contracted with Evergreen Cemetery?
My father's been contracted with them for about 10-15 years.
10 or 15 years. Okay, and what direct relationship did you have with doing anything with the memorial? Did you order the granite? Were you the one that processed the payment, or what exactly did you do?
I typed the names in, I cut the stencil, I put the stencil on the stone, I pulled the letters from the stencil, sandblasted the names into the granite, and I painted them, and then I pulled the stencil from the granite.
And when you moved forward with engraving the names on the granite, what was your impression on why you were doing this? Did you feel like this is something that Evergreen would install, or did you feel like this was something that the families wanted as well as Evergreen, or what was your sense of feeling and moving forward with this?
That a memorial is finally going to be placed on the burial site of for the Jonestown families.
And what paperwork do you have that would show or make you feel comfortable in even beginning to engrave?
To engrave the names?
Yes, the paperwork that we have.
When we received the document saying that you had the money to go forth with the payments is when we felt we were comfortable with going forward with it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's what it was based on. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't move forward until we knew we were going to be able to get paid, because this was a huge undertaking for us financially and with our supplier.
Okay. And there's a drawing that your dad did. We would like to...
For the foundation?
For the foundation, yes, sir.
Yes, that drawing was a recommendation to the cemetery on what size the foundation should be.
Okay, could you show that to the camera? Can you zoom in on that? So that's the foundation that you gave to the cemetery.
Well, these are the 6 black pieces of granite. This would be the one red piece in the middle. And then here's a drawing of the foundation underneath.
It's not going to pick up that pencil from there.
Okay, so we have to bring it up.
No, that's something you can do afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
You'd be better off to do that.
okay,
Okay.
okay. Okay, and so can I see that, please?
And that was here with John Dooley, 2008.
Is there
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, there's a date on it. Is that a date?
Yeah.
4808.
Wow. 4808.
That's when
And then when the memorial was done in November, wasn't it? Of '08. So this was actually given to him before we unveiled the 2 pieces at Evergreen Cemetery.
And you gave this to him before you even started
Yeah.
engraving the names?
If that date is correct on there, yes.
4808.
He should have a copy of it with that same date.
Okay, and did John Dooley ever tell you that this foundation was too heavy?
I remember seeing his reaction. My father talked to him, but I remember being in the room and seeing his reaction about how big it was. So he was a little surprised at how big it was, but it didn't sound like it didn't sound to me like it wasn't going to happen.
Okay, so And what exactly did he say about the size?
He was
If
surprised.
he-
He was surprised at how big it was. It was.
Did he ask you to, could it be made smaller?
No, he did not. He did not ask if it could be made smaller. Just as you didn't ask if it could be made smaller.
Did he indicate that it should be smaller?
No.
He did not indicate
That is something that my dad had the conversation with him, and I was just, in and out of the room because I had work to do.
Okay. And so this is the base
The
that-
foundation
the
that would
foundation
need to be poured
that
underneath
need
it.
to be poured. So this is something that Evergreen needed in order to erect the memorial.
Yes.
And without this, you could not build the memorial to this size without them having these specifications or this dimensions.
No, we could build a memorial without them having that. That's not.
No, my question is, since Evergreen was donating the base,
The foundation.
they were donating the foundation. In order for you to even erect the wall, wouldn't Evergreen need to have this?
It was my understanding that they would put the foundation in
Right.
as soon as when the granite was paid in full for. That's what
Okay.
I overheard.
Okay. So the purpose of you submitting this,
Well, so they could
Foundation.
pour the foundation. That was all it was for. It wasn't for an okay for the size of the monument. It wasn't for,
Okay.
it was just so they knew the dimensions of the foundation that they were going to need to pour.
okay, so you gave this, your dad gave this to John Dooley.
Yes.
So that they would know the foundation that they would need to pour in order to
Erect the monument.
erect the monument.
Yes.
And this was given to them 4808. That's April the 8th, 2008. Is that correct? That's
Yes,
correct?
that's correct. That's the date that's on the piece of paper.
And since April the 8th, 2008, today is December the 3rd, 2010. During that time, did Evergreen ever call you back and say that this foundation was...
As far as I know, we have not received a phone call or anything from them stating that this memorial would not be installed until my father saw Channel 2 News about a new, smaller memorial, and then that's when we became concerned.
Okay, so they never told you that they were not going to put this wall up?
They
when
never
it
told us
began?
that, no.
They never told you that this foundation was too large?
No.
and not to proceed?
No, they did not.
You found out watching the news?
Yes.
And your dad found out watching the news?
Yes,
And
he
when-
called me.
He called you, okay, and how did you feel about that when you found that out?
I was upset
Okay. And you were upset because?
because we have a lot invested in this memorial by itself, and if everything stopped right now, it's just the way things have been going with our business. Like, well, here's another setback.
Right. And as long as you've been working with Buck and Evergreen, have they ever done this before?
No, we've never worked on such a large-scale project as this before. Usually what happens is they come up with a size of a monument. They send us the size that they want and the color of the granite for a quote, and then we do a drawing for them because they usually pick a design. We would do a drawing on the computer, and with the drawing being sent back to them for approval, along with that would normally be a quote on what it would cost them to purchase it from us. And then we would wait for them to submit the drawing to the family. The family would approve it or have changes, and it would be sent to us as an approval.
So the family approved it.
Right, the family
So
would.
once the family approves it, then they send it back to you. and
With
tell
a
you to
signature
make it.
from the family saying that we can go ahead and make it.
Okay, so the family would sign it and say, that's okay. And Evergreen would send it back to you and tell you to make it. Okay, so having had that kind of process with Evergreen before, have they ever...
This
had an-
situation was different because
Okay,
you
wait a
were our
second, wait.
customer.
What have they ever... But they sent me. They sent the coalition. They sent us, our families. I'm sorry, I keep hitting my mic. They sent all of the families of the Jonestown Memorial through Reverend Lumpkin and Professor Tashaka, Mr. Oscar Wright, who's helped us to start the coalition. We were the families, so they sent us as families to you.
Right.
versus instead of them.
What they were doing, I'll tell you what they were doing by sending you to us directly. They were taking themselves out of the picture, so there would not be any middleman. So there would not be an extra charge to you to do the job.
Okay.
So they took them, because there was no need for them to be in the middle
Okay.
when we're working with you on what you wanted to be produced.
Okay.
Okay, so their concern only was for the foundation. It was not what we were going to be discussing on the monument size.
Okay.
And what we do is with a family is if they're going to purchase a monument, it's the responsibility of the family to go to the cemetery to get it okayed that the size is going to be put in the cemetery. Because with small monuments, there are regulations. With something as massive as this,
Okay, wait just a second. Okay, when Evergreen do their drawing, they have a family to sign off on it. They send that back to you.
Right.
Have they ever had a family to sign off on it for you to make it, and then all of a sudden they don't want it?
there's been occasions where that has happened, yes.
But did they not notify you, or did they?
They would notify us to let us know that the order was canceled.
Okay,
Because
so
there has been instances where a family would sign it, and it would come to us, and usually it's the same day that they cancel it, or it's very soon, because once we get an okay, we begin production.
Okay, so they've never had a family to tell them, no, we no longer want this, and then just let you continue to work. They've always notified you.
Yes, they've always notified us that we needed to stop.
Do they do the base for the others? Do they do the base?
We can commission them to do the foundation, or we could pour our own foundation.
Okay, so when they send other customers, do they normally pour the foundation, or do the customer? Or do you do the foundation?
We always gave our customer the choice of having the cemetery pour the foundation or us do the foundation, because I would tell them the price is similar. You can go and pay them, or you could pay us, and we'll do the foundation.
Okay, so if you did the foundation,
We don't have the ability to do a
found
found for the family.
for the
Okay.
other families. If you did the foundation for the other families, then you would do the foundation.
Yes,
Okay, if you did the foundation for the other families, they would pay you.
the families would pay us.
Okay, if Buck did the foundation for the other families, they would pay him.
They would pay the cemetery. Yes.
Okay, but because you are contracted with Buck.
No, we
they
are
can-
not.
Okay, you just work for him.
I don't work for them. I do their stones. We don't have a written contract. It's always been a agreement that we would do their work for them.
Okay, so it was a verbal agreement that you would do your work.
They send us an order, we would do it.
Okay, so the families could either choose you or Evergreen to pour the foundation.
We've never been in a situation to pour foundations for Evergreen Cemetery.
Oh, okay, so they always come to you.
Right. They were strictly a wholesale account, and we would deliver stones to their yard, and then their cemetery workers would take care of it from there.
Okay, so you provide the markers for Evergreen,
Yes.
and whatever they have on there is what you did.
Right.
Okay, but they sometimes send their families directly to you.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. Huh?
We've never had a family from Evergreen Cemetery come directly to us.
But they send us directly to you.
Right, because this was such a massive project, and I understand why they would send you to us, because they didn't want to be a middle,
To add more money.
There's too much possibility of error if you start having 2 and 3 people handling the names. There was enough problems just me communicating to you what we needed to put them on there. If we got a third party involved, it would have been total chaos.
Okay.
And they didn't want, they knew with this project, if they got a third party involved in it, it was never going to happen. We never would have got this far.
Right.
Okay.